Hello and welcome to Dance Teachers Academy. I am your host, Jose on the mic, and with me is the fabulous, amazing dancer, Ame. How are you doing?
I am wonderful this morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. You're looking fabulous.
Thank
with
you
us
so
today,
much.
we have someone who needs no introduction, but we have to say his name anyway. Forrest Vance, how are you doing?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
You're looking fabulous.
Forrest always looks fabulous.
Yes, he does.
He's known for that.
40 years later, I'm still here, trying to hold it together.
You're doing a great job. And you know, you're somebody I really respect so much, and I always have in the dance business. And I wanted to talk about the first time that I met Forrest, because it was such a thrill. I had moved to Los Angeles, from Los Angeles to New Orleans, Fred Astaire, and at that time it was the #1 Fred Astaire in the nation. And I thought I had died and gone to heaven because I was going to have coaching with Forrest Vance. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best studio ever.
And that was at least 35 years ago, right?
Oh, it was that many years ago.
Forrest, you don't know the rules, baby. We don't talk years. It's like, oh, it's been a few.
Yeah. Was I reigning champion at the time, or had I already retired?
I think you were reigning champion, but
okay, because that gives us a timeline,
Yeah, well, we don't have to talk about that, but anyway, so great, and
when in doubt, it's a few years ago.
But you're looking great. You always look great. I always see you smiling. You always have a positive attitude. Excellent with your students. You run a great competition, which is coming up in May.
May 24th.
Yes, I hear so many. I haven't been there yet, but I've heard so many good things about your competition. They just rave about it. So everything you do is top notch, and I always admired how you're just great with your students. They adore you. You dance wonderfully, whatever you're doing, whether it's teaching a workshop or competing. We're here at the Lone Star Ball competition just completed, and you were judging.
Yes.
Yeah. So, how do you keep going? All this energy, all these years, and
that's a good question, because I don't really know where my energy comes from. my whole life.
So it's not the coffee.
No, I mean I drink one cup a day, but I've never really been a coffee drinker. But I've always had this great amount of energy. I think I feed off of other people's energy and happiness. I mean, with me, I love what I do. We were discussing, I have 2 speeds, full speed ahead or shut down. I have almost no in between. So it doesn't, 40 years later, if I have a 10-hour or 12-hour work day, I just get up every day, and it's just like a rhythm that you get into. And even if you're dragging butt, and you get to the studio, like, oh my God, today's gonna be such a long day. As soon as the first person comes in and they, have a smile, or you start talking about, dance and movement, within 15 minutes you forget, and then you're on the momentum. 10 lessons is done.
Yeah, day
is over, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
You never really, because I don't, even when I teach, I don't take breaks. I bump my students back to back to back to back. So if I start at 9, I don't stop except to go to the bathroom until like 4:30 or 5. I just get that momentum. Even with the travel bit, if you're catching up playing, you're like, I go home, I taught all day. I taught 6 lessons on Friday, and I'd already, taken my bag with me, left the studio, flew here. And as I get back, I gotta teach all day Monday, and then catch and play Tuesday. It's just a rhythm. It's just what you do.
Excellent.
Love it.
Yeah. So, tell me, when you were first starting, did you have any challenges that you came across, and how did you overcome them?
You mean other than just being not very talented?
You were not.
I hear that. I hear that quite a bit, actually.
Well, I had a very nice upbringing. I lived in Pasadena, Maryland, a small town on the beach. So growing up as a kid, it was quite nice to be on the Chesapeake Bay and just crab and fish, and not really have barefoot from April to November.
Oh wow.
I always wanted to dance, but unfortunately, boys didn't dance, and my father wouldn't really allow it, and we didn't really have the money for it. So I grew up rather poor. We were a very, very tight, limited income, but we were the kind of poor that didn't know you were poor. We had a house, we had a car, we had food on the table, and I just remember starting to work at age 11. I used to scrub floors in the elementary school. After I would get out of school, I would scrub floors and toilets and desks and things like that to make money.
Custodial.
Yeah. I did that for several years, and then I earned like in school, I earned 3 scholarships full paid anywhere in the world of mathematics. And,
wow, I did not know that.
a lot of people don't, you know.
Income.
And that's the
There
cool
we go.
thing is, you know, like dancing is so mathematical. I mean,
It is.
the amounts of turn, your room alignments, and how much your body turns, your feet. I mean, all that stuff is so important to me. And like, even when I teach, I talk a lot about the feet, the way the feet should be and the legs should be, because of the exactness of the mathematical format.
So now,
And
there you go.
Wow.
Inside, a little inside knowledge. You want to be world champion, work on your math.
most people don't know that, you know, but
That's why math is important.
That's
yeah. And then I
Education is
realized
important.
when I was in college, on my first year, that I was going to college for the wrong reason. I wanted to be a school teacher, that was my major in elementary education
Wow.
for the special, the hearing impaired. My younger brother, who I'd helped raise, he was 8 years younger, lost his hearing at the age of 2.
Oh.
So I already knew sign language, and he didn't know how to read lips and speak, but we knew sign language. So when I was going to college, I'm a reflection of the disco era, because I graduated in '77, so disco hustle was all the big rage, and of course my friends, we had our fake IDs, and we had to get into the clubs, and we would go beforehand so you get your hand stamped so you could get in for free, you know. And then you go back home and shower, put your cool clothes on, and show up at 11. But anyway, jokingly one day, you know, I'm doing full-time work at Sears, working in cameras and office supplies, and I'm also working. I'm going to college full time, and I'm also working full time.
Wow.
As a joke, I said to my mom, because she was like, "You're one of the top dancers in Baltimore." They always published a magazine called Baltimore's Top 10 Disco Dancers, and I was in there all the time with my friends. So she said, "Why don't you get a job doing that?" I go, "I will," because I remember passing like a Fred Astaire, you know, the way this hotel went in one day, and they're like, "Well, can you dance?" I'm like, "Well, I do at the clubs. This is what I do." And she said, "Dance with this girl." So, you know, I let her in some hustle, and she goes, "You're hired. Can you start tomorrow?" So I trained.
seriously just that.
Literally, I mean, like I trained, but I went every day. I had a 2-hour window to do some training, and that was the hard part, because full-time schedule for the college, I would run there to train for 2 hours, and then I'd run to my part-time job at Sears, which I did about 35 to 40 hours a week. So I was like full
Part-time,
speed
40
ahead.
hours a week.
Yeah, but then, you know, I got bored because they weren't really training me. So I went like, I guess we went to like a little family vacation, which was a beach that you could drive to, and I came back to quit. And they had fired all the staff except for one girl, and the girl said, I heard you're very talented and I like you. I said, "Well, I came to quit." She goes, "Well, if you give me, you know, like 2 weeks to train you, I want to make you my top guy." I go, "Okay, you have 2 weeks." And within 2 weeks, I was making money, and I was having a great time. And then, you know, then the story went from there. I had like a 96% with working with new people, because obviously I can talk a lot and make people feel good and comfortable. And then, you know, I wanted to be an advanced teacher, because my goal was like to be this, you know, star, to be a champion. And they wouldn't let me. They're like, "No, your percentages with the new people are really good, so that's where you fit in our studio." And I'm like, "But I really want to dance. I just don't want to do beginners all the time." And so then 6 months later, I met somebody, and I left the studio, moved clear to Oklahoma. I just turned 18 years old.
Wow.
And within 5 years later, from knowing nothing, I won the United States Rising Star in International Latin. And the next year, I changed partners and won the International Rising Star Latin again with a different girl, and won the United States American style. So I was like the first person to win 2
Different
titles
styles.
in 2 different styles at the same time.
How old were you then? Young, right?
I was probably the youngest champion. I think I was 25 years old. I won in 1985 my first title. I retired in 92.
Wow.
So I had 7 years of a really good run. I would have stayed longer. I lost a little bit of the luster with my partner. So I wasn't really having a great time. And for me, it's all about, I want to have a good time. I want to enjoy what I do, or I don't want to do it. Even with clients, you know, it's like, if you can't behave, you're not a nice person. You gotta go away. I can't have that kind of negativity near me, because I'm like Mr. Positive. I mean, nothing really gets me down. Not really. But we all have our personal woes,
Sure.
and things we have to overcome. But I don't harp on that, and I definitely most of the time don't share that. It's all
Why carry the box of
I'll
rocks
explode
around,
one
is
day.
what I say.
I'll have all this inside. I'll just go boom. You know, the one up in Forrest was part of them over there and over there. You know.
Some on the roof.
Anyway.
But I think that's what keeps you positive is you keep it fun, and I think that's what people lose sometimes, whether they're teaching or in a professional partnership, right? Because they start dancing because it's fun and they love it, and then somewhere along the way they lose that. So that
negativity is just not good, you know. So even when sometimes there's a difficulty with your partner I never had any difficulty. Let's put it that way. I mean, people choose, like, one girl got married, one girl got pregnant, one girl, then life changes,
yes,
for people,
sure.
and you have to go with that. But the rehearsal for me was like, I need 2 to 3 hours rehearsal every day, 7 days a week, and then teach the day. Otherwise I couldn't really achieve my goals. But there's no reason for me to pick on you or you to pick on me. But that's why we have coaches. So when my partners would pick on me, I have my opinion, you have your opinion. So I just say, well, you know what? We have a lesson with so-and-so this week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let them see and figure it out. Don't point the finger at me and say, I'm
Sure.
the reason, or I won't point at you and say, you're the reason.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do what we do. If they're good, they'll see what the problem is, and they'll fix it. There's no reason to say, you're bad or I'm bad. There's no reason for that.
You
So
gotta slap
I
your
never
left
liked
foot
that
down,
with anybody, not even with the Pro-Am. When I've done Pro-Am for 40 years, like I said, I bought a Ferrari with my top teacher money from 7 years. That was my prize for me from working so hard. I didn't even use my income to buy it. So to win that, kind of like winning that car, was like a major feat.
Mm-hmm.
But it took like a lot of work, and then the students I've had throughout so many years, I'm still friends with so many that I taught 35 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I moved, we didn't end our friendship. Because my philosophy is like, I'll do whatever I can to help you reach your goal. And I think as a teacher, it's very important to listen to people.
Yes.
Like when they come in, they only want to learn rumba. You only teach rumba. It's not until they ask you, look, what is that? I like that. That's when you might do something else. But most people don't stay because you don't listen to the people that don't stay, you don't listen to what they say. But they have to learn to laugh through making mistakes. I mean, it's a lot to learn about your body and your feet and your legs, and still have a good time. But that's the hard job of a teacher, is to make it extremely educational, but at the same time, and like a good workout, and at the same time make it fun. And you have to know when to back off and
Throttle
throw
back
in
a
a
bit,
joke,
sure.
or make something fun. Joke about something so that the pressure.
Sometimes go to lunch.
Yeah, it's like, this is
Let's just go to lunch.
Now's a good time to take a break.
Yeah, you do have to be aware. Yeah, and so when you're coaching couples still, I'm sure, do you have to sometimes be that mediator and just kind of talk about, hey, the dancing's great. We got to get inside this brain and the way that you two are communicating or not communicating with each other.
Most definitely. A lot of couples do fight, which really, I don't like sadness. I don't like fighting. I don't take confrontations well. And so sometimes in the past, when a couple starts going at each other, like, guys, you got to take a little time out because I feel so uncomfortable, because you're fighting in front of me. You have a lot to learn. I'm not the coach for everybody, because I'm really, really big on artistry. Why you do a move, why do you touch a person this way, why do you look at them this way, why do you move your hand that way. That's an artistry that has gone by the wayside. And I've been saying that for about almost 10 to 15 years, because now everybody's about speed and tricks, and they don't take the time to learn why do you look at it? It's supposed to be a man and a woman. I mean, when I see like Bolero, which is a dance of love, which Susie and I were always asked to do that on TV.
Yes.
And we weren't even in a relationship, but people that didn't know us thought we were in love. And we go, we were good friends. We were friends, but we go into a party arm in arm like was expected. She had her friends, I had my friends. We almost didn't have the same type of friend, but when we danced together, it looked like we were having a good time, that we enjoyed each other all the time, and it was like so romantic. I mean, when you touch a person, there should be a response. It's like your face, your eyes. Nowadays, it's sometimes so cold that you know, you leave, you watch it, you're like empty, and you look around. Even when I wrote an article, I write articles for, you know, the Dance Beat and different publications about, and I jokingly say, first person who moves their hip or their back gets my mark. Or the first person that actually looks eye to eye at each other gets my mark. The first guy that touches the girl and she says, oh, with her body, like, you touched me?
Yeah.
You know, gets my mark. Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's so cold, I'm like, I feel nothing. It's like watching like 40 people do an aerobic workout.
It's all mechanical, no feeling whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to tell you one of my friends who was a champion in smooth.
That's interesting.
And you know, she doesn't do a lot of judging, but she does some. So she came off the first round of the Latin rhythm, and she said, "I don't know what to do." You know, and sometimes, you know, you think, well, that's weird. You know, you're judging because you know, everybody's thinking, well, you should know what to do. But she's like, everybody's just so fast. And I said, well, nowadays, sometimes it's like the first person who trips on the floor or misses a connection, they get back a notch because you don't feel any partnering or intimacy or, you know, man-woman. So there's no wow factor that makes a couple special. All through growing up, even when I was a reigning champion, I was lucky because Susan and I were really, I think, a great team. And, you know, in the other teams, you know, I always felt like any one of those teams could win tonight because they were all so good. You know, but in some of the teams, the girl was great, the guy was medium. Another team, the guy could be great, the girl could be medium. You know, I think Susie and I were pretty much equal, you know, for the look and the power. And we created an energy that was exciting. You know, and I can remember at the first U.S. championship that I won, that the audience chanted my name for 15 minutes. Wow. They couldn't even go with the competition. Because when I rolled Susie out, the couple that we were in battle with, the girl rolled out next to her and stepped in front of Susie. And then Susie stepped in front of her.
Oh, there we go.
And then it became a little like bowing war, you know? And then they started chanting my name, then they started chanting Susie, so they were chanting her name for like 15 minutes. It was like, I've never seen it before or after since then.
Wow.
I mean, people who have been around long enough will tell you that happened to Sheraton Bell Harbor. It was just like it was yesterday at Miami Beach.
Yes.
Wow, nice.
Wow.
But, you know, exciting things like that would happen because all the couples were so special. They had their own style of choreography.
Big
their own
costuming.
Costuming.
Yes.
You know, Ruth and Lloyd
Yes.
were, you know,
Yes.
very popular then, and Diane Gingrich was very popular. So all these couples had their own style. And even for me, people used to say, oh, I hate what you're wearing. Who cares? I'll be in something else next month. You know, I mean, watch the dancing. You know, I like to be, you know, razor edge on the cutting edge with everything. I one year wore, when I liked, you know, Prince music. Prince was big. So, you know, her dress was black lace with the flesh colored under it.
Yes.
So I did the same thing on my shirt, which is not unusual, but I did pants. Half patent leather around the outside. The inside was black lace also with just the flesh colored foam. And you know, you couldn't see anything, but that is like inappropriate. Like, you can't see anything. It's very tasteful, but provocative.
Sure.
And provocative. Hey, I sold 200 videos that night. 200 of my show. Do you know how much cash that is? And the other couple's like, no, I don't want to be video. I'm like, you're a fool. You know, because if you make that stuff available to people, they love taking a piece of you home.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, that costume was bought off my back that night. But you know, people were always controversial about what we would wear, what we would do. You know, the rhinestone bra cups. We started that.
You started that?
So now it's commonplace. Cutting the hips open. She cannot walk out with that dress with her hips exposed. Why? You know, you cannot wear your hair down. Susie wore her hair down she was the first one that wore her hair down. You can't do that.
Trailblazer.
I mean, like, you know, where is it written? Even judging, when I started my event, my judges said, to stand for 2 hours idle like this is hard on your legs and your back.
And back,
My judges sit at my event. And the podium's right on the edge of the floor. You can see better. And people said, well, that's disrespectful to the dancers. I'm like, well, actually, they can see better, and they're not focused on how bad their knees and feet and back hurt.
Right, and they can enjoy the dancing better.
Yeah, and they can enjoy the dancing, and they actually get it better. And then several comps started, but I got a lot of trash talk for even stuff like that. You know, the people's choice, like
haters are gonna hate.
Yeah, let's talk about your competition. It's people's choice.
Right. And the name was special. You know, when I was trying to come up with, you know, what to call it, it's called People's Choice Dance Sport Competition. And you know, on the professional night, which is Saturday night, which is all black tie. Like I said, it's first class. I like to keep the old world feel. We have great meals. We eat in the restaurants. We the Saturday night is a gala of black tie, evening gown, awards, general dancing, and the pro show. You know, pro competition. So the last thing of the night is when each champion that has won does one dance, and the audience picks their winner. And they win like his and her matching gold necklaces of the logo of People's Choice, which incidentally is my partner Chantal and I, a live action shot.
I remember you dancing with Chantal.
Yeah, well, that was an action shot, and then we put the crest around. It says People's Choice Awards, and then that dancing figure is an action shot from us.
Wow, nice.
It's a lot of like nostalgia in a way that people go, oh, it's just a dancing figure. But people who know me or are exposed to that, it's kind of neat. But that's a fun time. You know,
when's the date of the competition?
It's May 24th to the 27th of 2018. It's always Memorial Day weekend because it's at the Westin Resort Spa in Scottsdale, and
nice.
Monday's Memorial Day. So a lot of people like to elongate their stay. We end on Saturday night, but they stay Sunday, go on Monday since it's a holiday in New York.
Nice.
But it's really cool resort. It's really nice.
And that's not the only thing you have going on. So you just completed a DVD and it's for sale. And we will scroll that. And when I say we, I mean Jose.
Yeah.
What is it called, and how can they get that?
Well,
DVD?
on my personal website, which is right now under reconstruction because we do, I have instructional videos I made in 1992. They're on the social dance. They're called Not Strictly Ballroom. That was when the movie Strictly Ballroom came out. So the series is instructional DVDs on social dancing. So it's like, say, a bronze syllabus. It's like 12 to 15 steps in all the dances, smooth, rhythm, and country western. And that's been available for a very long time. We were on QVC. We sold like 5,000, at the time, VHS tapes in 15 minutes. It was 50 cities, 50 products in 50 days, something like that. And they picked my product. I went on them. We sold out in 15 minutes.
Love it.
So because it's an affordable way to learn. So anyway, segue, we now have pay-per-view where you could pay like $1.99 to spend the day there looking and studying whatever.
Yeah.
It was another. We're changing all the pricing now. Then it went from you could do it for a week, and then you could buy it unlimited for like $8, and you could download or copy any of the information that's on there. But it's all social dancing. Man and woman partnership, the figures, blah blah blah. It would probably cost the average person about $20,000 or $30,000 to learn the material that's on those tapes in a studio, or maybe more. But the new one is the American Rumba Latin technique of legs and feet, which for 10 years has been so controversial. I mean, people with all the European influence, they don't even know what an American leg action anymore is. And back in the day, Susie and I kind of changed it. What's commonplace now, we were like groundbreaking because even when we were using our bodies more and including muscle groups, your butt, your stomach, the core, people didn't do that before us. So it was very controversial, and people would say, well, you can't do that. You've changed the technique. And even when because of course we would do lectures, and they would ask me to lecture on what we were doing because they wanted to know how to produce that. Yeah. And people were like, oh, you've changed it all. But the people who wrote the book, which was Dagmar Yervel, Werner Brock, people like that, they're like, nah, he hasn't changed the book. He's doing exactly the same thing. He's just added the muscle groups of the buttocks, the stomachs, and the oblique muscles, and the upper back, and things that they never discussed before. So it became what you see now. Like in my new DVD, it explains all that. What to do with your feet, how you should get on the foot, how the leg should be soft, when you should straighten it. Because we do straighten the leg on some walks, but there's a reason for that.
That's a lot of technique.
And that's what's gone by the wayside, is nobody really has a reason. And it goes from the basic hip action of just from bending and straightening and getting left and right to incorporating your butt and stomach. You can get a semicircle roll for the intermediate dancers, and then for the advanced dancers who are really excelling, or the professionals, to do a figure eight where you roll your hip. And my new DVD is really exciting because it really takes you through it. Every new ingredient I add, I recap of what you do not lose this. Remember, we did this first.
Interesting.
We're building a house, so you can't get to the next level of the house and have and just bypass and forget what you learned over here.
Sure.
So it keeps reiterating what you learned and what you added all the way to what you finish with.
I love
So I'm
it.
very excited about it.
Okay, so we are
I'm
definitely...
excited about it.
I know.
I mean, it's like, I watched it like 5 times because, of course, I wanted to see flaws because I did it in like a lecture type form. There's no girl, there's no people dancing, it's just me.
Okay.
And it's just talking about from posture to foot positions to leg positions, how your foot should be turned, what you could look for in the mirror, what you should feel, you know, and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So when I was watching, I was like, wow, that's like really good because I said I have the gift of gab, so when somebody springboards what they want me to talk about, I can just
Get
you know,
on.
Yeah,
do it.
it's
So that's the
true.
lecture. It's like an hour and a half of talk, demonstrate, add. So the house that you build from my DVD is pretty
I can't wait to see it.
exciting.
I'm all excited about that.
Well, first we're going to have you back because you have a lot of exciting things to talk about, and we haven't.
Dude, this
I
guy's
feel
like
like
the
we've only
Energizer
scratched
Bunny,
the
yeah,
surface,
right?
and he has got
Somebody
to start a
wound him
lecture
up.
here.
Yes,
yeah.
as a matter of fact.
Yes.
So, that being said, this man is entirely too busy. We need to get
Thank
you
you
going.
so much, Forrest.
Yes, Forrest, thank you for being
Well, I
here
hope you
with
come
us.
to People's Choice. You know, if you come, we can do some stuff on site like poolside or you know,
Oh,
this
absolutely.
resort has 4 swimming pools, 2 golf courses. I mean, it's amazing.
It's
So,
a date.
Scottsdale,
It was
Scottsdale
such
at the
a-
end of May is just fabulous.
Sounds like
I'm going to take
sounds
your
like a
word
plan.
for it. All right, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Vance, we're going to let you go because I know you're a busy man. Thank you for
Thank
taking
you
out
so
the time to
much.
have us here.
Very exciting. Yeah, they could go if they want to, see my website. peopleschoicedanceport.com is about the information for the competition, the dates, and where it's at.
Okay.
And then I have www.forrestvance.com, Forrest with 2 R's, and that has DVDs, pay-per-view,
Perfect.
PBS things, Hall of
We
Fame.
will
award
we
that I
will
got.
certainly disseminate this information for the viewing public. Thank you for being here, sir.
Such an honor for us. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. This has been great, and we'll definitely have to do this again. You
For
guys
sure.
really totally wound out. The lovely May, thank you.
Thank you, Jose.
This has been a great interview, folks. This is another episode of Dance Teachers Academy. Thank you for watching.